Alright, so we are checking out a silver Zarya here.
3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
Okay, so I like that you actually bubbled your Hammond when he went in. But then, like, think about how long you held your personal bubble before using it. You could have taken some of those Zen shots, because you're not going to really need to, like, save your life yet, and gotten some really nice charge right off the bat. But instead, you kind of held it for way too long. And then now we're kind of just walking up, like, suiciding. Like, you should die if you push that aggressively, especially, like, now, like, you don't have your bubble. So, like, you're playing really dangerously here, when you could just be playing, like, behind the corner, behind the payload, getting just as much value, but you wouldn't be in danger of dying. And I don't mean for that to be like out of touch for what like happens in silver, but I want to give you advice that can carry over as you climb. So like right now you don't have your bubble and you're being ulted in the front, you should be like running away basically. Your team should be kind of resetting here because you're down 3 and down 4 and you got nano, but you should still be running away because you're going to get melted even with the nano. You held your bubble till your Ana was like dying. That was scary. So I love that you lived there. I'm happy that you lived there. I promise you as you start climbing, because you're going to start climbing, you would not have lived there. So try and just be a little bit more careful. Nice kills, but we totally forgot about the payload. Keep backing up, keep backing up. Most of your team is dead. Yeah, no. So we wasted our grab there totally. And if you would have been watching the kill feed, you would have noticed that almost your entire team is dead. That's just another kind of general tip. I'm glad to see you doing it now. But let's try and make sure that we're hitting tab just a little bit more, seeing what our enemies are playing, because that'll always be a nice information advantage. Because as far as you know, maybe they've changed to like a Widow who's going to headshot you now, and you have no clue. Unlucky, but it's one thing to kind of always be conscious of, like what ults do my enemies have right now? Because I'd be willing to bet you that that Zen has Transcendence. I'd be willing to bet you that the Mei has ult again. I think I can guarantee pretty much that Moira has ult. You know, if you would have been thinking like, oh, that enemy Ryan has his shatter, you might have been playing differently, you know, expecting to be shattered. It's unlucky you didn't get that Zarya kill. 2 right clicks would have got her. So now you're super high charge, you know, so you don't really need to be using your bubbles to maintain your charge. Like right here, it's not necessary. Instead, you should be saving your bubbles to try and make sure that your team can like live when they get caught in a grab, or when there's a cooldown coming for them, or when the Reaper ults them, you know? So there's the Zen ult, there's the Moira ult. Oh, and we didn't get anyone in our grab. It looked like you, or we did at the very end, but kind of just by like throwing. It looked like you were kind of, you had it in your mind that you were going to grab, so as soon as you got to the top, you grabbed. Well, also, why don't we bubble our Hammond right there? He's dying right in front of you, and you have your bubble. You could have stopped the freeze on him. Bubble him. I think you got a little too focused there, because you kind of threw your grab as soon as you got up there, even though it wasn't really the best time. And then you didn't bubble your Hammond there, so he ended up dying. So we gotta, it happens so much, especially at your rank, and it may even be what's holding you back, You gotta just pay a little bit more attention to make sure we're not kind of tunnel visioning. You know, you could have seen the kill cam. You had already kind of been losing people, known that you weren't going to win that, and pulled back a little bit more, and you would have had a better time.
I am not a good loser.
So I want you to think about the fact that you're literally like in their backline right now. That's so risky, and thankfully it worked well for you, but you don't need to be playing that risky. That was another great opportunity for you to save your bubble for. If you save your bubble till your Mercy is resin, and then you bubble her when she reses, it's a great way to ensure that your Mercy doesn't die. So you have your ult, so you're going to be setting up for a little bit of a cheeky grab, you know? That's what it looks like at least. So you don't need to be right-clicking. They don't need to know you're up here. If you could have just kind of chilled, waited for them to push up there, or waited for them to push past the bridge, you probably could have gotten a really nice grab. You could have started shooting him in the head way sooner. About halfway through his shadow step, you can start headshotting him. Which doesn't matter quite as much on Zarya, but good general tip, and you could have just started damaging him even if it's not a headshot. So our bubble that we used here, think about it. So we get shot once by the man, and we just kind of bubble, but then we're still in the wide open when we bubble. So you're still just in this open ground over here, and you're not going to be able to, you know, get to cover very easily. And so if your enemy team wanted to punish you there, they very easily could. And it's kind of like the same thing here, like you're so far up right now without a bubble. And what'll happen is it'll help you here, but then you'll get to, say, gold or plat, and you'll be playing that far up, and your enemies will kill you really easily. So as long as we're kind of recognizing that it's going on, that's good. So we bubbled as soon as we jumped down there, even though we didn't need to. Gotta save our bubble till we're actually in danger, and we can actually block damage. Right clicker. One of the nicest parts about Zarya is even if you only have 1 ammo left, 2 ammo left, you can still right click. It worked out well for you. Your team's doing fine here, but if you could have cleaned up these kills faster, you know, hit some right clicks, you guys would have won already. Pretty nice grab. You know, you can walk right up to the grab, right click the ground, and melee all around, and you get so much damage that hurts everyone that you're pretty much guaranteed to get a couple kills. So you guys held it, good. I really want to see you using your bubbles to block some damage though, okay? Because you definitely could be, and it'll help you do much better. And think about saving them for like important cooldowns, like when your Ryan gets charged or something. And then you can bubble him and he's totally safe. Or at least much safer. Glad you saw that and wanted to take care of it right away. It's very important not to let your team get farmed by turrets on the point. So we left our Ryan there to go and try and like flank, which isn't really our job as Zarya usually, and then our Ryan dies because of that. Imagine if instead you had stayed here, you could have pushed ahead of your Ryan, bubbled, taken the damage for him, and then bubbled him so he could take the damage for you, and it would have been really nice. You guys probably would have gotten a kill, but instead, because we left our Ryan, he died, and then because he died, it looks like we were going to die. Super unfortunate, and it didn't need to go that way. Definitely not. And right now you're done too, so you should be playing a little bit safer, you know. I love that, how you were able to bubble your Ryan as you're going. That's great. If all of your bubbles could be like that, you would be doing fantastic. But then again, we left our Ryan again. What if he needs our bubble? We left our Ryan and pretty much got our mercy killed. Right clicker. There you go.
You have my thanks. My ultimate is
Thankfully, your Junkrat was pushing point almost that whole time, but we really kind of created an unnecessary scare by leaving our Ryan and then not being on the payload. Because even if you won that fight, if you weren't pushing the payload, you didn't really get value out of it, you know? Go in front of the shield here. You don't need to be behind it. You have a Ryan. That's more so something I need to be saying to the Ryan, not you, because now you're going to get farmed because you're not by the Ryan. You were very committed to that kill, that's for sure. Which isn't necessarily the worst thing on the planet. But maybe we need to look at the rest of the fight, because if that was a for sure win and you were just trying to clean up that kill, make sure she doesn't get away, then awesome, good job. But because that wasn't a for sure win, you kind of took an unnecessary risk. So you have 2 bubbles. Save 2 people from this. Should have bubbled yourself, and you should have bubbled someone else. You can make sure they live. You can get 80 charge. It's a beautiful situation actually for you. A Diva Bomb? Zarya's love Diva Bombs. You're holding your personal bubble too long. Like, you could be getting charged right now and actually contributing to the fight because you have this corner here. So you can sit behind this corner and be pretty much safe. And with 100 charge, you can make it so it's hard for them to push on you. But instead you held your bubble too long, and you were forced to run away. And then we used that bubble on almost nothing. If that Ryan went in a fire strike us there, we would have gotten pretty much nothing from our bubble. The Ryan is suicidal, no problem. So how do we win this now? We gotta make sure we're using our bubbles. That's one of the first steps. So maybe we don't need to solo grab the Zen. I'm glad you got the kill, but it's kind of a little bit of a waste of a grab.
Securing the payload has reached the checkpoint. I'm on fire.
Nanoboost administered.
like even that, think about that. Our soldier was in real danger, so I get why we bubbled him, but we ended up bubbling him actually while the Pharaoh was reloading, so our bubble didn't end up doing anything. And then now we're pushing into a fight down 2. Our soldier hasn't respawned yet, and our Rhine is dead. And now our Junkrat's dead too, so now you're just going to be dying late and wasting time. That's all you're doing here. Like, sure, you got that pick, but their spawn is much closer, and you guys aren't there yet. So we should have just waited to push in, definitely.
My will is unbroken. Group up.
Walk it off. Lots of highlights real. Tickets, my ultimate is ready.
Get in
And then
there.
again, like, we kind of just used our bubble on nothing because we couldn't see what was going on. We really shouldn't be using our bubble unless we know our teammates are in danger or we know we're going to get charged.
Rain from above.
Your team's getting ulted behind you and you're not turning around to bubble anymore. We really got to try and play with our team more, and I guarantee you we'll pretty much start climbing. Like, your team was pretty much grouped up there. They would have probably loved you to be there to bubble them. Our Ryan is dying right in front of us. We have our bubble on cooldown and we're not bubbling. So I know we're getting very focused on this diva, which is fine, but look at our Ryan's health. Dying that whole time. Low, 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 dead. And then again, you're down 3 right here. Why are we throwing our grab? That's a really big waste generally. So look at that, you're down 3, so you got 2 really nice kills. Glad you got them, but it still almost didn't matter, because when you're down 3, you need to get 4 just to make up for it. So I'm super happy that you guys won this. Try and submit a VOD that you lose next time because your enemies weren't punishing you the way that they need to. But first and foremost, you gotta, one, learn to use your bubbles so that you're actually getting value out of them. Make sure that you're either blocking an enemy cooldown, saving a teammate from taking like high damage or even saving their life, or getting a lot of charge. And there's different times where all 3 of those are important. And then 2, you have some really bad tunnel vision you gotta work on. And that's not the end of the world, but it'll definitely hold you back when you're too focused on one move or when you've already decided what you're going to do, and so you're not looking at what's going on around you. You focus on those couple things, and I guarantee you'll pretty much start climbing.